Hi everybody, Colin here from Collins Engage. A bit of an update, but I've had a request and it was a fair point. Somebody asked me if I could do a tour of the layout and what I'm up to and what I've done. So this is what this one's going to be. That's why the title is called This is the Story So Far. Okay, the story so far. I've been doing this for about 6 years now. It took me a good year to get my first train running, even though I got my first train within a month of deciding to do it. Because I had to clean the shed out. That was the first job. Then I had to put the actual baseboards down, and just to run through it again, I'm on 1/2 inch ply, 1/2 inch plasterboard, what's got on top installation, which is soft, and up to now it's worked well. I'm running in DCC. I started my DCC controller. My first one was a NCE power cab. Great controller, but as sound has got better, I've decided to go down the route of sound, but not on everything, of course. And I've changed my controllers or controller to the Pico controller, which is that, and it's a Wi-Fi, so I can walk in here, this small area what I stand in. I don't need to walk, but I go out there now because things have changed out there since I started, and it was very annoying if anything went wrong while I was out there. And fused, I've got that many locos now, it won't start up because there's just a sudden rush of power to everything and it just fuses out. So I've put a switch system in, which out there I have a remote control what turns zones off. So I can turn them off, get my controller going again, and turn the power on. So that has been an improvement, and it works very well. There's my switches to switch the blue and white wire off. I only have to switch one row off, but it also means if I have any faults with the wiring, I can zone it out. Or if a train's having a problem, well, you know where your train's having a problem because it stops usually. But if there's any faults with the track work, I've got it in zones now. So this area here, which is a bit of a storage yard at the moment, is going to be my station. One platform there and one on this side, going from about here running round to about there, and this other platform starts there to there. Now this hasn't changed except for since I started I've decided to put a third loop in because I had that line there was for a return loop. Now, my mental thought was, not as in mental, but how I had a little thought of doing this layout, was if I had a train running with, say, a diesel on the front, and it was running the up line, the clockwise line, I wanted to turn it around and run it the other way, because these two run the down line, anti-clockwise. So I put return loops in, so it used to come up this hill, across here, round here, and back down this line, and it would be facing the other way. And to get the anti-clockwise to go clockwise, when they went through that tunnel, if they came back down this line, which it would go under the tunnel and come back along here, it would go out across and back out onto the clockwise. So that's how the return. But I decided this third loop I would put in a raised section to continue from that point over there and make it go round, down, through all this area, through the tunnel, and back up this line. And this area here is all new, and then it goes across and round. So I have 3 circuits. So that's a new thing I put in a few years, well, maybe a year ago now. Time flies, so it could be more. When I first started, I saw the power station stuff from Graham Farish. So that was, I wanted one of them. So I put it in the corner, in this area here. The coal or the future biomass materials, when they start getting delivered, get dropped off here, up into the works and burnt and make electric, as you know. So that is that area. This is my station. This is the container yard. Now, one thing I've just missed out explaining about the container yard, it runs on DC. So if I ever get an engine what comes DC and it needs making into DCC by the tabs, I test it on this track first. So I can see if it works before I start messing about with it. And the controller for that is there. And I'll just plug it in when I need to. And test my DC engines out to make sure they do work before I start messing about and touching them. Okay, so now the container yard area. Like container vehicles, you know, the wagons, you don't have to have so many to make it a long rake. And many years ago I saw one of these at Worley at the PD Marsh stall, and I said, does it move? And he said no. I said, I'm going to have a go at getting it to move. Now I've only got it to move down the length of the track. So to show you it moving, unfortunately I'm doing a lot of work on the layout, so there's a lot of bits. It needs a good clean, and I have tried to just hoover it and then I've cleared again, but that just shows it does move. And I am wanting to make a modern version, and it move in every direction, down the length, across the top from left to right, and up and down to load containers. And then I've made a container yard with Eddie Stobart. Put lights on. Lights are from Kites Lights, the double O, but to me they work. And the building lights, they're also from Kites Lights. So that's the area so far. And if anybody does watch Paul Sheedy, you've got to spot the ice cream van. Well, it's come to see me to give me some ice cream, or ice lollies in my case. So this is the container yard so far, because there are, there's fencing still to put up down this side, down here, a gate to put on for vehicles to go straight in and turn at the end, sometimes to unload, sometimes not. I have some container lifter, like forklift trucks, what can lift containers, they need building. So this is this area so far. So then we have my diesel yard. Now I am going to put in a new point here. I'm going to put a point in here and just have a part down there, because in the last month I managed to get some of those, and that's where they're going to park to get refueled, filled with water and the chemicals they put in to do the spraying, because this is a little work area. Then I have my turntable area. Now all this area here, from this point that way, is a heritage area. It's got a turntable, it's a working table as well. As you've seen in other videos, and if you have a look at one about 4 videos ago, I explained about having a little problem with it, but it got sorted. But I run my diesels through it. I know diesels shouldn't go on them, but it's my layout. It works brilliant, and while 2 or 3 engines are going around my track, I can mess about in this area and move stuff about. But I also have some steam engines, not many at the moment. I did this hillside when I decided, when I first started, this hillside here was where there was going to be the start of the town. And it's made with shaper sheet, and then it's got the plaster on top to strengthen it, and I had put some grass on in this area, but then knowing that I was going to put some trees on, because the idea of the trees, it was to block some of the smells and smoke coming up from the steam yard. But with this being a heritage site, I have 3 rails going that way and 1 higher up. I had to make a tunnel mouth, and as you've seen in videos just recently, how I've made those. And it's on the actual building itself. I'll try and get in close, I can't promise you won't, but it's the Heritage Centre. And people can go up there and take pictures of the railway and movement. on that lower level. The top level is all closed off. That comes out. I've made one for here, and that comes out. This road bridge here, what comes from the station and the container yard and goes off into the rest of the world, as I call it, that lifts off with this area here. So that whole mountainside lifts off. So if I need to do any work with the track underneath, then I can lift it off, do it, clean it, put it back. There is a hole at the other side. So that's the inside of the mountain, the hill and the track, and that's where I can retrieve things. But as you can imagine, working in there isn't very easy to do. And this is looking at the layout from this end down at the heritage area, across to the distance of the power station, and the station will be over there, the container yard. And then this is the fiddle yard area here, and one underneath. And you may have noticed this top one's on a slope. It's just so I've got more hand room to get in, because it does start off at a low height over there, which I didn't want that to be a stupid height anyway. So it just rises, but all the stuff up on the top shelf will always have an engine on, so they won't roll back. If I want to store anything without engines, they'll go on the lower. But that's how it is. And this is looking at the rock face from here. So the other thing I have done is I've just made a footbridge here which needs fixing down. It's going to have some gravel going up to the back of that, to the entrance. That's how they get into there. And it will come along here, and then there's going to have to be some form of steps up and down. The other thing what has changed is I've got a 2-level fiddle yard over there. The top layer comes from here, and while the 3 tracks are running, I can bring out anything on the top layer and take it down and park it on the hill, ready to go off that way, or to go down and out onto the clockwise, the up line. The bottom line comes out here, and if it's slow moving traffic what's on, I have time to bring it out and bring it into the siding here, the through line if there's nothing parked there. But unfortunately, as we all do, we buy things for our layout, and I've got quite a lot of stock now. Not a lot of good stuff, as in goods wagons, coaches, but I'm getting a good collection. So at the moment I'm just storing some up there and on that shelf. But what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to put a tongue and mouth here and a point off. I'm going to make a cassette system, and I'm going to just put a bit of a hill going up here just to make it look okay. From this end it'll be the back side of it, but that's not a problem. May actually make another tongue mouth, I don't know. But this cassette system is just going to sit on some pillars, maybe one here, and there might be a pillar there, and I'll make it out of stone so it looks like it's one of these old stones what grow out the ground. We have a few round here, they're just random, quite tall, and I'll sit it on, and then I'm going to put some shelving up here on this wall high up, where I can store my cassettes on, and I can just bring them down, lay them down here, so it'll go from there right over there, which is a good length, and I can lift stuff on and off, drive them out again. If it's a drive-in, if it drives in this way, I can turn the cassette round and it'll drive off, but I'm going to come up with a design for that to help the storage, because I believe it is 2, 4, 6, 8 on the top and 7 on the bottom, and I still can't get everything on my layout, but I'm never going to get everything on, because eventually I'm going to get more stuff and I won't be able to do it. That area there is going to be the farm scene, and it lifts off for me to get to the chest freezer underneath. But there's just the one other thing I've got to show you is I've got a canal here, and I've got an old-fashioned canal bridge. Now, no heavy vehicles are going to come across it. They all go into there. But I may make this into a bit of a car park and extend the canal for a turnaround. So they come, park up, visit this area, and if they want to, they can, people live on canal boats, park up, live here for a bit, get on the train, go to work, whatever. So that's what I may do here, but that I have built, and I will show it in action with working lights and barrier. People just deal with giving way to each other, but when the bridge needs to go up, we have to stop the traffic, and on both sides we have the warning and the flashing lights to stop the vehicles. Then the barriers can come down, and this is all using servos and the Megapoint system, and the barrier comes down, and then the bridge can go up. And I built that, as I said, myself. Saw a picture, I thought I need to do one of them in the heritage area. I wondered how I was going to get vehicles across and have a bridge as well. And then when the boats have gone past, the bridge goes down again. The barrier goes up. And the lights stop flashing. And the traffic can go. And that's how it works, which will slightly get altered. I'm very happy with the barriers, but I'm just not happy with the unit, what makes them work. They're not level. The box isn't level, so I need to alter that, but that's not a problem. And just one other thing I have done since I started, if you look at my old videos, this was a Peco, 2 Peco garages stuck together, and I've now got some grain fetish which I think look better, but I did have to alter it like I explained. And I did do some fencing round, very tricky, but it does look the part, and I will continue round there. It'll have some and fence this area in. But I don't think I've missed anything off. If anybody would like to ask any questions, any thoughts on what I've doing. Oh, one other thing. My track is DCC, but everything's going to be controlled by a push button point system and track detectors. And I'm using an ADM turntable, which in other videos you've seen how great it works, but I use Megapoints control system for controlling my points, and I use servos, and the idea is I can put the servos in on the surface, and then I just have a wire going down to a control panel which is underneath, and then one wire of set of 3 goes into there. This I am making myself. It will have the rest of the plan. This is just this area from under there to here. It doesn't have those bits of tracking because it has to continue, but I will make this the plan of the layout. I'm going to have signals with lights. I've already done a video showing how I'm going to work that with the Megapoint system. So that's about everything. Well, today this is just a sample of making some girder type bridges, to hold the bridge up, and I've been doing some rusting on it. Now this is the outside, what the general public would say, so I've only lightly rusted it, and that's the top edge, a little bit more than that. You will notice as well that in its length it's slightly curved because of it going on the curve part to make the bridges here at different points. Now the inside, done it heavier because they'll have the spray of the trains and wagons going past, coaches. So just practicing different ways of doing it, and I'm very happy how I've got it to to really look heavy. And the water runs down, so the bottom edge suffers from a lot more water. I'm very pleased how that has turned out, and if people are interested I'll show you how it's been done. But this was just a sample of how I got this, and not forgetting it's out of card cut on those machines again to get the curves. I mean, the actual curve isn't that much on there, but it's not flat. And then I've laminated 3 layers together to get the curve. It takes me back to when I was doing veneering and laminating work, architectural work. So I'm very pleased with it as a sample. Hopefully it'll get better as we practice some more. Well, I hope that was quite interesting. I enjoyed doing it. I wish it was a lot tidier for people to see. But, you know, it's a work in progress, things like that. So, anyway, all stay safe and look after yourselves, and look forward to speaking to you in the next video. And I'd just like to thank the new people who have come along and subscribed and left comments. It's great. If anybody new is watching today, please hit the like button and subscribe. Okay. Bye.